Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. And we are joined by a special guest today, Brad Pastuca from PTC. And today we're going to take a closer look at a product called Creo Navigate, which is a lightweight product lifecycle management solution. My name is Rob Romanowski. I'm the Director of Operations for 3HTI. And we're very glad that you could join us today to learn a little bit more about this application. Now, the whole idea behind Creo Navigate is with PLM systems, with various PLM systems, I think the impression is company-wide that if you're not an everyday user, that it can be a little challenging, and that if you really need to get to access information, that you need to go through the engineering department. Well, that's no longer the case with this PTC Navigate solution, because Navigate is actually they run as applications. So it comes with 7 basic apps, which Brad is going to review. And also you can create customizable apps that you can use within your organization. Now, this entire PTC Navigate software runs on top of Windchill. So it's integrated and it runs on top of Windchill, but you're not in full-blown Windchill mode. And what this means is that people in purchasing or people in marketing or anybody within the company can get quicker access to specifically the documents that they need without going through the PLM process. So it doesn't matter if you're using Teamcenter, Innovia, or Windchill. This specific product is something that's made to be easier to use. And without talking too much, actually there's one thing I need to do before I pass Brad the controls, is I have a quick poll that I would like to take a survey and see what everybody's impression is of PLM tools. So you can click multiple boxes if you like, but I just want to get an idea of what your impression is of PLM tools. If you think that they keep the product development process running smoothly, if you think they're complicated for most people, or if you don't know enough about them. And whatever your impressions are, you can even pick all 3 if you like. I'll leave it open for about 3 more seconds. 2, 1, and the poll is closed. So what's interesting, 67% of everybody on the call today feel that PLM tools are complicated for most people. And in the 30 percentile range are that they help keep product development processes running smoothly, running effectively. And thirdly, they also feel that they don't know enough about PLM tools. And I think that this is pretty accurate and indicative across the discrete manufacturing industry. So thank you for voting, and I'm going to pass everything over to Brad. So you're going to get a little pop-up, Brad, that says share my screen.
Okay, I think we should be good to go here.
Yes, we are. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type those in the questions box in the dashboard. And we'll try to answer them as we go, but we will definitely answer your questions at the end. Thanks, Brad.
All right. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. And today I'm going to be taking you through a really high-level discussion around what PTC Navigate has to offer with its role-based applications. So again, my name is Brad Pastuca. I'm a virtual pre-sales engineer here with PTC, and I'll be taking you through a short PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll get into the live technical demonstration. All right, so first we're going to talk about some of the industry challenges today. What are customers really dealing with that prompted the idea or the conception of Navigate? Well, a lot of times the information that users are trying to find is siloed within different organizations. So what if quality is trying to find information that engineering has? Well, a lot of times there's a little bit of a cross-pollination, and it can lead to sometimes where the people aren't finding the information very quickly. The information is also spread across several applications. So on top of the fact that it's siloed within different organizations, you also have different applications, whether it be different ERP system, different enterprise system, however you're managing your documents today or your data, it becomes a bit hard to figure out which systems you need to be in order to access the right kinds of information. A broad set of roles require product information. So engineering, for the most part, you would imagine would be putting the information into Windchill. So the Windchill heavy users obviously have the most base knowledge because they're in that environment day to day. Well, what if marketing and sales needs some sort of document so that they can move on with their campaigns? What if procurement needs to see some information? Well, not all the time is it they're in Windchill, but they still need access, and a lot of times they're going up to the people that have the most knowledge of Windchill, and they're coming up and bugging them, tapping them on the shoulder, hey, can you find this for me? Well, now you're taking the engineer out of their day-to-day work, and they're no longer really adding value into what they're supposed to be doing, which is mostly designing. So it becomes kind of 2-for-1, where procurement isn't, they're waiting and sitting on their hands, and engineering isn't really doing what they're set out to be doing. So on top of that, the PLM interface really isn't optimized for any specific role. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you think of it like a Swiss Army knife, a lot of times all you really need is the knife, but you're presented with all of these different gadgets that could potentially get the job done, but aren't really there for cutting purposes. So with that said, it's really not optimized, but you want something that can really hone down and give you exactly what you need when you need it. And oftentimes casual users forget proper use. They may have had some light training or some training in the past. Well, they tend to forget the best practices on the ways to find information, whether it be searching or browsing, and you're just presented with a lot of information per screen, so it makes it tough to find the data that's pertinent to that user. The PLM interface is costly to customize and maintain. So when you're trying to optimize it for a specific role or specific group of people, specific organization, well then it becomes quite costly to do so. There's a lot you have to do, a lot that goes into that, and then maintaining that on top of that throughout the years is also quite costly. So what is PTC's solution to those challenges that we've just read off? That is the Navigate solution. And what it is a suite of role-based applications that allow the user to find the information that they need faster so that they can make better formed decisions, and this ultimately helps democratize the data that is within your Windchill system. And these applications include apps for document information as well as part information. So let's take a look at the capabilities that Navigate brings to the table. It provides an easy search, navigation, filter, and view. That's really the whole underlying idea behind Navigate. Make things very easy to find, very few clicks to get to, and really allow those users, those stakeholders, to move on with the day-to-day activities that they really need to be focusing on. It provides a modern, scalable user experience, being able to pull this information up within a web browser. You can view it within just like you would within Windchill. You could view it within a tablet. You have all that capability right at your fingertips. Then lastly, it provides an interoperability layer for all other applications. Being able to move, streamline, and smoothly between these different applications where the information is residing just allows for more, a quicker ease of use and a very simplified user interface. So what we have here is basically a laundry list of the different out-of-the-box applications that you get within Navigate, so pre-configured. I'm not going to run through these. I'll mention a few of them, but we're going to be going through these much more in depth as we go through the demonstration. So such things as view drawing, very important for people on the manufacturing floor if they want to pull up information without having to go into Windchill necessarily. then they can search a part number, and then that drawing, the corresponding drawing will come up. You can view the part structure just like that of Windchill. You don't lose that functionality here, as well as being able to view and measure in 3D. So a lot of the functionality has been ported over into Navigate, but it's very, very simple to get to. So moving on. So this is a slide that I'd like to show because it talks about the architecture behind PTC Navigate. And specifically, we're talking about PTC Navigate View, so the ability to view the information within the system that you want to take a look at. So it provides a dynamic connection to multiple systems of origin, whether they be PTC core products or even customer systems such as ERP systems. So on the bottom visual that we have here, the PTC systems are anything that's in blue. So we have a direct Windchill extension from ThingWorx for such things as PLM. So what we're probably mainly focused with today is PDM Link and Project Link, but also you have the customer systems that is funneling through based off of whether it be ERP, legacy, or rational systems. So all of that comes into ThingWorx, which is our rapid application development platform, and really allows for the connection of multiple systems into basically one single common area. And this is the backbone, this is what basically sits on top of Windchill and really pulls the information into Navigate View and ultimately up into the user role with their single sign-on. So as you're as you're logging into Windchill, you log into Navigate just the same, and this information is going to be present, but it's going to be in a different type of format, very easy to use, very easy to consume. You can utilize data from many sources, whether they be cloud solutions, on-site, or software as a service. And this Navigate allows for tailor and deployment of the apps very quickly. So you can upgrade and replace the back-end systems without really affecting the upfront users, as well as being able to present data for specific user roles. And we could talk a little bit more about this within the demonstration. It just goes to show how easily and effectively you can find the information. It's also extensible and robust. So where you can deploy this within days and weeks rather than weeks to months. It's a very very robust type of approach. So ultimately, how do these capabilities tie to value? What does Navigate bring to the table that we at PTC feel that it does? So the ability to efficiently use your collected data. You may have tons and tons of data within Windchill, but how many people are accessing it? Is it everybody within your processes that you want to be a part of the process? Might not be. So really taking that data and making it or democratizing it throughout the entire enterprise it's great. You get more eyes to see the information. You can make better decisions based off of that, and you have a more holistic product development process. It's easy to deploy and adopt. About this just a few moments ago. Being able to try fast, fail fast type of approach. If it's not going to work, then you can quickly reiterate and have that information to work from, and then get the latest and greatest out to your users. So you see the cycle on the right-hand side, and ultimately we want to be able to have the end users adopt the system. A lot of times the end users are a little bit daunted to get into Windchill. There's a lot of information coming at you at once, whereas Navigate, it feels much more at home. And what I'd like to make an analogy to is iPhones and iPods and iPads have made it very simple. Everybody just wants just a single click, and that's the application that I want to open up. That's the information that I want to see, and Navigate is a lot like that. Really involving all the stakeholders, and I mentioned this earlier, the idea of having the throughput from your entire organization rather than just a single discipline or role really opens up a lot more opportunity, a lot less errors, a lot less mistakes that can be made because you are you're much better informed, you have the information at your fingertips, and people are being much more productive and efficient throughout the day. And lastly, we believe that all of this value really ties into the idea of reducing the amount of errors. You have more eyes, more hands on the development process, and also reducing the cost, being able to get out to the market faster and being able to differentiate yourself within the marketplace. So that is what I had for the presentation. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to jump into Navigate and show you exactly what it looks like and take a virtual tour through the applications that are present.
So far, so good, Brad.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. So what we have here is Navigate. This is the splash screen of Navigate. A few things I would like to point out. I am signed in here under the Windchill admin, and that is, this is the full-on user. They have the access to all of the different out-of-the-box applications, and this is just for demonstration purposes. But what I'd like to do is I would like to start off with the part applications and then work our way into the, start off in the document applications and then work our way into the part applications. All right, so first up here, we'll go to View Document. So with that, we have the ability to search very quickly. It's a very simplified search where you search via document name, document number, or a combination thereof. For time purposes and demonstration purposes, I'm going to focus on the recent results here, and that is the load calculations. Before I ever get into it, I see some attribute information that is populated before I ever look at the document itself. So we have the part number, the document number, the document name, the state that it's in, as well as what phase, as well as when it was checked in. So that information is being populated right off the get-go, and if we select on that, just a simple click, we see that the document details have been provided. So we have our additional attributes, such as when it was last modified, the native content link, so I can open that up directly within Microsoft Word. I can tell what type of document it is just by looking at the icon within the format, and if I select on that, open, it downloads directly to my laptop, and now I have this information. So if I'm a user going through Navigate, then all I have to do is a few simple clicks, and I have this document right at my fingertips. So now I can make a better informed decision. I'm not bugging the engineer to pull out a document for me. I now have this capability to move on with my day and no longer have to rely on another user. Okay, so that is the document View Document application. So if I go back to the home screen, I want to point out this is another document application, and this one is interesting here because if you are managing your engineering requirements today, you can also have an application, an out-of-the-box app pre-configured so that you can link that up into your Navigate system. So as we click on this View Requirements, we see that we're prompted to enter a search ID, or Integrity Document ID. So within PTC, Integrity is our engineering requirements management tool. So when I search on this, I'm pulling from the database that we have within Integrity, and it's populating right within Navigate. So what this is instead of downloading to a specific document, I now have a different way to view this. It is all on the web page. And it's a bit of an interactive approach where you can select on the section that you're most interested in. You can expand, you can collapse. Depending on how you want to take a look at these requirements, you can easily do so right from within Navigate. And the beauty of this is that you can see these requirements all throughout the engineering, or excuse me, the product development process, not just the beginning or the end. You have this all throughout if you are a part or you are able to have access to this requirements application. And the last thing I'd like to point out here is the quick ability to search throughout the technical requirements design specification document. So if I wanted to look for a specific keyword, we have an index search that pulls up that information very quickly, and now all of the sections that have that keyword have been populated, and I can sift through those within a moment's notice. Okay, so that is the view requirements application. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to move into the part applications. So we're going to work our way from left to right, and we'll start off with the view design files. So just as we had with our document application, we have with our view design files, we have our search bar for searching part number, part name, as well as our recent results. So for demonstration purposes, we're going to stick with the front wheel assembly for today. So as we select on that, we are now prompted with the viewing of the design files. We see that within our demo system, we have an IGES file as well as a step file, two types of neutral file formats for CAD. Now, before I move into taking a look at those design files, I wanted to point out here that the part applications that you've seen on the home screen are now populated within this widget here, this little toolbar. So as I hover over these, I am told what type of application it is, and I don't have to click back and forth between the home screen and each of these applications. I can quickly bounce through these if I see fit based off of what I'm looking for. So we're going to select on the design file for the step, and what this is going to do is this is going to launch within Creo View, and Creo View is going to be one of the major tools within this demonstration, in that being able to look at this documentation or this information very quickly within a viewing tool, and it really helps to paint a picture as to what you're looking at. And that's obviously what Windchill prides itself on as well. We're just carrying that over into Navigate. So we have a very bland looking front wheel assembly. Don't worry, there's another file that looks a lot better than this one. But this is mainly, if you wanted to see the design file, you have this access. You can further interrogate the model. You can look at it, view it in 3D space, just really allowing the user to gain valuable insight to what the object they're looking at is. So just like that, a few simple clicks, you're at the design files. Let's take a look at some of the other part applications that we have here as well. So next up here, if I hover over, we see the viewed drawing. Now this might be good for someone on the shop floor, someone that wants to take a look at a drawing very quickly. They don't want to have to go through the tough Windchill user interface, and especially they don't want to have to bother an engineer to pull up a drawing for them. First of all, they're probably going to have to walk from the manufacturing floor the whole way to where the engineers are sitting. That takes time out of the day, but they're also, again, losing time on both parties. So being able to pull this information up with a simple click, now we're cooking. So what we see is we have just a sample drawing within our system. We have some call-outs if they want to see some part numbers, some quantities in which they need to work from. They now have quick and easy access to this information, and they can move on with their day. Okay, moving right along from left to right, view and measure in 3D. So this is going to be used to get a little more comfortable and a little bit easier to look at, to bear. But what we have is Creo View opening up within our native browser. So it's not opening up separately off of a client. We're running right from Mozilla Firefox. So again, we have our 3D model, taking a look at it. And again, this might be something that someone on the shop floor might see that it is somewhat important to them, because these are based off of the 3D CAD models, and they are accurate based off of those representations. So what you can measure in here is going to be accurate of what is predetermined within the CAD model. So some tools that Creo View has to offer is a measurement tool. If we wanted to measure the diameter of, say, this rim, we can do so. A few simple clicks, now we have this diameter, and we can use that. We can, whether it be for our consumption or we wanted to measure something in real life just to make sure that everything was checking out, then we can do so. So now we have some accurate information to pull from, as well as this 3D rich documentation as well. Okay, so moving right along, view part properties. This is a very simple application, but it can speak volumes. The ability to show additional attributes. In this demo system, we have just last modified and when it was created. There can be more. More attributes added to this list, and it can be based off of specific use cases that that the users want to see what type of attributes are important for their eyes. So we're going to skip on over to the part structure. If we select on that, it is going to be very similar to that of Windchill. It is an interactive type of approach. We have the viewable on the left-hand side. We have the cross-referencing that happens if we were to select in the viewable, then it shows within the part structure, and vice versa. So you have that ability to help you interrogate the model, really figure out which part or which component or assembly that you're ultimately looking at. So let's go ahead and take a look at collapse some of these to show the interactiveness here. And we're going to specifically work with the anti-lock braking system. So I have the viewable showing up here on the left-hand side, as well as the selected part showing up in the upper top right-hand corner. So this shows some of the attribute information streaming in from Windchill, and as well as a direct link to this anti-lock braking system assembly. So if I select on that, I am now a level deeper. I am now at that anti-lock braking system, and that part structure has now populated here as well. So the last piece that the last piece of the puzzle, last application that I wanted to take a look at for the out-of-the-box applications at least, is the parts list. So if I select on that, this will pull up basically a table, much like that you would see within potentially Excel or something like that. And this shows the part number, the part name, as well as what version or state that it's in, and quantity information. So maybe you're in procurement, and you don't necessarily need to see a drawing anymore. You can take a look at the quantities within this table, and you can make a decision based off of that. You also see last modified by and when it was last modified. This last column here, if there are any drawings associated to the parts that are listed out in this parts list, you can see them populated within the drawing column. So if we select on the brake caliper, we can open that up. It downloads directly into our Creo View application, and we can open up from here. So just like that, we now can take a look at a higher level assembly, top level assembly, and take a look and see what parts specifically have drawings that I can use, I can consume, whether, however you see fit, however you plan on using drawings. And I wanted to point out here that drawings, if they're in Windchill as PDF documents, Navigate can absolutely open up PDF documents as well. We just have the system configured to be different files to open up within Creo View. So what I wanted to do is save the best for last. So if I select on this extra link here, we are presented with a new customer application that is definitely a little bit vibrant and different than what we've seen within the out-of-the-box applications. So before I got into it, I wanted to point out the usefulness for this customer application. Really, the idea is that we want to provide the customers freedom in which they can provide their end users with a custom application that is specific around a use case that they see is important. So for instance, it could be around manufacturing. If you wanted to pull up work instructions from a simple click onto an application, type in a part number and pull up some process plans or work instructions, you can do so. And we give you the freedom to do that with the application development kit. What we have here is a sample customer application. This is what we've sampled or created within PTC to showcase this ability. And let's go ahead and get into that. So this customer application looks a bit different, but it's for a sample company known as Gallus. It's very similar in the terms of searching. So you're going to search a part number, and you're also populated with the recent searches on the left-hand side. So if you are looking at something the other day, you can't remember what you're looking at, you go to recent results, and they have now populated, so you can quickly get to that. So we'll stick with the front wheel assembly. That is what we've been working with throughout the demonstration today. And as I select on that, we have our Windchill part structure listed out here, as well as our Windchill view. Nothing really new here, but what I wanted to point out are these 4 different columns, or these 4 different tabs that we have on the bottom. And to do so, I'm going to really demonstrate that, I'm going to select on our brake assembly. It's going to highlight over here. The selected part is going to show the attribute information, so you're always in the know within Navigate. So first off, we have our CAD documents. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but we can easily open up that CAD document within Creo View. You've seen that multiple times now. It opens up the same way as we would prior. Next up here are changes. So if there are any direct changes to this brake assembly that are either open or closed or however it may be, you can see that. You have that visibility right from an application such as this, and you can view it via a link right within Windchill. So it takes all of the busy work out of there. You don't have to navigate through Windchill, through all of the all the different tabs. You can now quickly click on a link, and you're at this change task that we have here. So we have a change notice. We see some more information. We can take a look at the attachments. We are now much more knowledgeable when it comes to this change. We can see who it's being, who's the approver, and how this process is all in place. And we are now much more capable of making a decision based off of this information. So next up here is our related documents. So you can see any related document to this brake assembly, whether it be technical specifications or user's guide, how you want to manufacture this. Those documents can be uploaded and then ultimately viewed from within this type of interface. So if we click on the link, it'll download into the specific content that we have opened up here in Microsoft Word. This is just a dummy document to showcase the ability to quickly download this information and view it. All right, and lastly, I save. I save this for last because I feel that it is very important to, and I really want to hit on this, in that what we have here is ERP information. Up here we have Windchill information. So we're marrying the two basically, and what I'd have now is basically we have a looking glass into Windchill and also a looking glass into the ERP system. So we have information streaming in from our ERP, such as cost information as well as quantity in stock. So what this tells me is that I can look at my Windchill information as well as ERP information and have the ability to stick within one application. Don't have to go into each of them separately to, it takes a lot less time to look at a single screen rather than open up to 2 different applications. So just having that information all populated here together is very useful, very valuable. And what I wanted to quickly point out here before we kind of wrap up here is that with the ADK, the Application Development Kit, it gives you the ability to really pull in the information that you want to see. So if you wanted more information from your ERP system that you believe your users would benefit from, then you can do so. And it's very simple to do so. It's made easy through the ThingWorx foundation that is, we see up in the upper right-hand corner. ThingWorx makes this all possible, and the Application Development Kit gives you that freedom to work within this environment. So at this point in time, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the home screen and wrap up there. And that's going to wrap it up for me today. We're going to go ahead and pass it over to Rob, but I wanted to point out that there is obviously Q&A at the end. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them out.
Thanks, Brad. I think you did a great job. I think that it was very direct and to the point concerning what the capabilities are of the system. I think it's pretty exciting and very interesting that you can also connect your ERP system into Navigate, and I think this is a pretty tremendous tool. And but you know, we'll see what. I know there's been a lot of inquiries with a lot of PTC's larger accounts into Navigate, so we'll see what it means to the smaller and mid-sized businesses too. This is a really cool tool.
Sure, I would agree.
Nice job. So at this time, we do not have any questions, but I am going to take control real quick. So you can type those into the dashboard. Just let me do something here. Here we go. Show my screen. So I want to thank everybody for being on today. And if you have any questions or want any additional information, you can feel free to contact us here at 3HTI. You can send an email to our general inbox, info at 3HTI, which is really easy to remember. You can send an email directly to me if you like. You could respond to the invitation that you received for this webinar. I will get those emails also. Or you can give us a call at 866-624-3HTI, which is 624-3484. So Brad, at this time, there are no questions in the queue. So I want to thank everybody for being on today. I want to thank Brad for being with us. And that is going to conclude our webinar. Now we're starting a series where we're going to run these every Friday. However, I'm not going to be in next Friday, so we're going to do it next Thursday at 2 o'clock, and we're going to take a look at some direct modeling tools within Creo 4.0. So be on the lookout for the invitation for that webinar, which will be out to you next Tuesday. Brett, once again, thanks for being on, and everybody have a great weekend. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.